Hello, Ryan. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Yeah, guys, could you unmute us so we can let Renee know that we can hear? Hello, Renee, can you hear us?
I can hear you, Ryan. Yes.
Perfect.
Don't
Yep.
know if you can hear us, but I can hear you.
If you can hear me, then that's good enough.
I'll test it out with this. I will declare the August 5th meeting of the West Des Moines City Council, I'll call it to order and invite you all to join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
God, peace, justice for all.
All right. I'll note that we have Councilwoman Hardman on the phone. Please sign in, everybody else.
We have 3 members present in the chamber and 1 on the phone.
Okay, Ryan, have there been any changes to the agenda?
No changes, Your Honor.
Can I get a motion to approve the agenda as distributed?
Motion approved.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. Please vote. Councilwoman
Renee
Hardman.
is voting in the affirmative.
Perfect.
Aye.
Thank you.
4 yes.
Okay, with that, we will move to Citizens Forum. Anybody in the audience who would like to address the council on any item that is not either part of public hearings or new business, please come to the podium here, give us your name and address for the record. We ask that you keep it civil and respectful and to 5 minutes or under. Is there anybody here for Citizens Forum? All right, Gary, come on up. Give us your full name and address for the record, please.
Gary Dean Leffler, 1235 11th Street, Apartment 110, West Des Moines, Iowa.
All right, go ahead.
So, as I've met with the city council on several occasions discussing what was going on at the camp. Several times I've come before the city council and you people have identified to me that you were going to keep me in communication, you wanted to keep me in the loop, you wanted to keep me informed about what was going on. To the case in point where when the city people called me, they wanted to know where power lines were, they wanted to know where sewer lines were, they wanted to know where water spigots were at. I was always available, answered every call, was available at every time, made myself accommodated in every shape, form, or fashion. Unfortunately, it appears to me that this city has terminated the lease that the church has with the Jordan House property. It seems like to me that there's been some confusion. I've had, I felt like there would have been some communication from someone at the city with me based on my times that I'd come here. You said you wanted to keep me in the loop, you wanted to keep me informed what was going on, but actually nobody called me from the city, and in fact I have yet to receive a call from the city as to what has transpired. An email was sent to Gail forwarded an email to the pastor at the Walnut Creek Baptist, or the Walnut Creek Church, which was passed on to me. But as of yet today, I have not received any communication. I've had 2 hap chance meetings with Mayor Russ, one at the Capitol and one at the India celebration on Saturday. So I guess I'm a little confused because I don't have because there's been no communication with me. I'm not for sure what the understanding is. My conversation with Russ is that the city's going to continue to lease the building to the Jordan House, which is a 50c3. Well, the church is a 50c3, so if your premise is that you're not going to lease the building out to anybody, I'm at a loss as to why you're going to lease the building to one 50c3 organization, but not the other. I would say this. I'm disappointed. I feel like communication is always the key to every situation. And a lack of communication from the city to me, Gary Rank has my telephone number, he has my email. I still have not had no call from him. And so we're just trying to figure out where we're at on this thing. Russ's opinion is that it doesn't matter what I say or do, that we're going to be, our lease is terminated. So, but then the question still arises, if you can lease it to one 50c3, why is our lease being terminated as well? I'd like your opinion.
So, Gary, after you and I talked, you and I have been in communication on this here and there via text, phone call. And since you and I talked, I also talked to City Manager Tom Hadden, and my understanding is that the lease is being terminated. There was a clause in there between the Jordan, or the Historical Society and the church that either could terminate at any time and then give 60 days notice, and that's being done. But my understanding is that we are not going to keep that building long-term, that we are going to be knocking that building down. Is that correct, Tom?
Correct.
Okay,
The
so-
lease is between, excuse me, Mr. Mayor, the lease is between the Jordan House and the church. And Greta can go on further about that, but they gave the notice to the church. You don't have, it's not a lease with you, it's a lease with the church. And the church must have some type of agreement with you. And so when that's down, the plan is to raise the building, because there's going to be another building adjacent or close to that area for the Jordan House to support that. And that's part of the Arboretum plan and the Grand Plan. I think Gary Rank has tried to contact you numerous times.
Well, that was
Sort of
my understanding as well, that Gary's tried to get hold of you a number of times and
Yeah,
reached
I've
out.
got an email from him. I responded to the email.
Oh, I thought you
got
just
another-
said you didn't ever receive even an email from
I have
him.
not, I know, I said I have not received a call.
I think you received a call from him too.
No,
but-
I have not received a call.
All right, well, I
You
guess
can have my
it's-
phone records. I emailed him my telephone number. I said, you can call me. I actually have been out of town for a number of days when I got his
Oh.
initial email. When I
Right.
got back into town, I was actually where I had no service. I was out in Colorado rafting and fishing, so that was pretty tough to get a call there. But when I got back, I responded to him and I said that, and then he said because of the storm on Friday, he wasn't able to get to me. So it's been an email communication, but no telephone call. So that's for clarification.
Go ahead, Renee.
Mr. Mayor, this is Councilman Hart. Okay, what is the expectation of the communication? What are you needing and what are you wanting? And what are you missing as is moving forward? It's agreement, as the mayor, city manager said, between the church and Jordan House. So tell me your involvement and what are you expecting from the communication?
Well, part of I can see where there would be some confusion on this, because initially when they started talking about doing the demolition at the camp, I went to the Jordan House on numerous occasions and asked them, I said, hey, is this going to affect our lease with you? And they said, absolutely not. We want you there. You're paying us a monthly rate. And I'm not speaking of Gary Leffler in particular, but as working with Walnut Creek Church. So the Jordan House continually communicated to us that, no, this is not going to affect your lease. You're going to be okay. We want to keep you there. You help us on numerous projects. So that part was a little bit, and I had other opportunities to facilitate us moving our stuff, but when we were given those assurances, then I didn't pursue those. So now we're at the kind of the crossroads of, okay, we got to relocate a fairly large amount of stuff.
Who is we and us? Who is we and us?
Us would be Walnut Creek Church in particular. Obviously, a lot of the stuff I have, my personal stuff that's in there, has been stuff that we've used at Walnut Creek Church. So it's kind of like two entities, but it is ultimately basically one. I'm not subleasing anything from Walnut Creek Church. I am there to facilitate them and help them with different things that they have up. Even with the Jordan House, Gail's called me on numerous occasions, hey, we need this done over here at the Jordan House, or this needs to be done, or whatever it is. Basically to facilitate, I guess I'm just like, when my wife says my pitfall in life is this, I can't say no to anybody. So if somebody calls me, I'm going to help them out. So we've just really have afforded ourselves to helping the community, even the city of West Des Moines, and like if they don't get to the sidewalks before I do, I always took care of them. If there was mowing on 19th Street and they didn't get there, I took care of it. So I felt like we had a good working relationship. And sometimes when you guys would hire somebody new, they were doing all kinds of snow removal and mowing for us. But it was generally a very cordial relationship.
Well, here's what I would advise. I mean, we're not going to spend, 15 minutes on this tonight, not that it's not important, but, Gary Rank is sitting in the back of the room. Why don't the two of you step out, have a conversation here? I know that we were willing to give you a little extra time to figure things out, and well, while Gary is here, if you want to step out and have a conversation, either that or Gary can reach out to you and have a
Fair enough.
conversation. But, and you can ask any questions that you want, and Gary, you can answer those. And if Gary can't answer those questions, then we'll go to legal and have legal answer those questions.
But again, the lease agreement is not with the city and the church.
Right.
It's the historic, West Des Moines Historical Society and the church. So I'm not sure why this is even being presented, Gary. It's more for,
Kevin, I guess the core of the issue is what I've been told is that the city is not going to lease to us but they're going to lease to the Jordan House, which is a 501c3. We're a 501c3. What I've been given, the answer is why they're not going to continue and honor our leases because they don't lease to, the city doesn't lease to anybody. So I guess that's my core question is, if you're leasing to the Jordan House, then why can't we continue to honor our lease? I get it, because I think Russ has communicated to me there could be liability issues, but I mean, we have all the insurances usually if you lease somebody.
right, but again, that building is going to be raised and another building put up in close proximity that will be used by the West Des Moines Historical Society for the Jordan House. That's the reason that we'd be leasing to the Jordan House. So,
I'm just going, Kevin, with what the answer I've been given. The answer has been given is we're not going to lease to anybody. And I'm just like, well, why are you leasing to another 501c3, not us?
Well, and I'm not
That's the
sure,
reason
and I'm not sure that we're even leasing to the Jordan House either, because I think the Jordan House owns the land that their building is on. So I'm not sure we're leasing to anybody, frankly.
okay, then we're not.
Okay, if Jordan House still has that building, then is my discussion with them just saying, hey, can we stay there as long as
Yeah.
possible?
Why don't we do this? We're going to move on. Gary,
Okay.
I appreciate you being here. Gary Rank, if you and Gary Leffler could have a conversation, maybe outside the chamber, figure out a time that you guys can have a phone call and see how we can accommodate Gary Leffler
Very
here.
good. I
So,
appreciate that.
All right, Gary,
I
thanks
just
for
wish-
being here.
Wish there would have been better communication through the
Yeah,
whole process.
I hear
Thank
you. I
But
hear
again, Russ, I'm a little confused. Are we trying to take care of Gary Leffler, or are we trying to figure out why the lease between Historical Society and Walnut Creek Church has been terminated? Because again, I don't know that we've got any involvement in this, so to speak. We don't have a dog in the fight. It's between.
I think we own the ground now that the building is on. Correct?
Not yet, not yet. We have asked that it be free and clear when we do purchase it.
Okay,
And so that would be why they're going to be terminating the lease.
right.
Fair enough. All I ask is communication, Kevin, that's all I've asked for.
Okay.
Either way, you and Gary have a conversation between the Garys.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else for Citizens Forum that's in the chamber? Come on up, give us your name and address for the record.
Hello, my name is Liz Junker. I would like to not disclose my full address due to being in the Safe at Home Iowa program, but I will disclose that I live in the Woodland West apartment complexes here in West Des Moines, which is what I am speaking on tonight. So I just wanted to say thank you for allowing me to speak. I've been a resident of West Des Moines for quite a while. And like I said, I live over at the Woodland West Apartments off of Woodland Avenue. And yeah, I'm here to address several issues that I've experienced during my short 5 months of living at this property. Since I moved in on February 29th of this year, I've had ongoing maintenance issues that have failed to be addressed, a mold infestation that's created large soft spots on the walls, and under the carpet to start, peeling plaster and ripped drywall due to ongoing water damage. I have a leaking sliding glass door that every time it rains, my carpet gets soaked. On July 31st, just 5 days ago, we got about 3.5 inches of rain according to AccuView weather totals. I collected over 1.5 inches that leaked from the ceiling into the door frame, inside into a bucket, and that was just what I collected. The rest went into the carpet, and that happens every time it rains. I have repeatedly contacted management and nothing gets done. There was a city inspection on April 30th of 2024. They noted the issues in my apartment, along with several others, including my leaking door. Reassured me it would be dealt with, but the maintenance has not been completed and a follow-up inspection has not occurred. I've been in touch with Levi, with the rental complaint office several times, but it seems like the management at my property has been giving him the runaround. Either they're not responsive or they tell him they'll look into it, and I don't hear from any of them, ever. Nothing gets done. I am here to ask what the enforcement process / procedure is. At what point would a unit be declared uninhabitable / who would declare that? Because I believe mine was never inhabitable to begin with. What would my reparations be? And to be honest, I would prefer not to move. I just want these things to get fixed. But mainly I'm here to ask for the city's help to step in and enforce this action if that's possible. I'm here asking for help not only for myself, but for everybody living at that complex. I love my neighborhood, and I wish that I could say that I love where I live, but the conditions are horrendous, and someone needs to look into this, because if the maintenance on my apartment is so badly neglected, it makes one wonder what else they're neglecting. I know I'm not the only tenant there that is dealing with these kind of issues. I'm just the only one that showed up tonight to speak. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you being here. We will have building inspection reach out to you. I'm sure they have your name and phone number,
Yeah.
right?
Yes,
Okay.
I believe so.
We will have them follow up with you.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Okay, anybody else in the chamber for Citizens Forum? Anybody online for Citizens Forum? If you're online, hit *6, not #6, but *6 to unmute yourself. Give us your name and address for the record. Is there anybody online? Okay, I will call Citizens Forum closed. We will move on to item 3, Mayor, Council, Manager Report, Other Entities Update. And I'll start down here with Councilman Lodes.
One real quick thing, I'll be brief. For the West Wayne residents in the 2nd and 3rd wards, we have the 3 to 5 campaign going on and asking for signatures from those in Dallas County. And as a brief overview, we're asking to put on the ballot to expand the Dallas County supervisors from 3 seats to 5 seats. There's a whole host of reasons why, which I could explain to anyone who wants to talk about it after this meeting, but just wanted to get some awareness out there. A lot of folks have been working hard to put this on the ballot so that the voters can vote on it in November. So if you have any questions, please see myself or the mayor or Mr. Hudson after the meeting. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you, Councilman. Councilman Trevelyan.
Nothing this time.
Okay, Councilwoman Hardman, anything to report at this time?
Nothing at this time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Hudson.
Oh, not a ton to report. We have a few council members who are out of town and traveling, so me and Doug have been really just crushing it on some substitute duty on some subcommittees here. So it's been fun to do 3 subcommittees in 5 days, as it'll be the finance one this Wednesday. But we had development and planning this morning, including discussing what we'll be talking about a little bit later, item 6A, the grant experience. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. But last Friday's public safety subcommittee meeting, just wanted to really thank our public services. I know Gary stepped out for a moment, but public services as well as our public safety officers, because they've been doing a great job with some events that have been happening, most notably a big windstorm that happened last week. So kudos to all those who are making our city safe and easy to travel around and fixing and maintaining our city as well. So just want to say thank you to all of those folks, and that'll conclude my comments, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman. City Manager Haddon.
Speaking of the storm, the storm was very intense through a portion of the city. Gary and the gang went out and with the fire chief and others to say where most of the damage was. We try to cast a long net for those two areas, so then we collect, and then if there's one-offs, they call them and pick them up. The goal is for these storms are isolated and very powerful in certain part of the community. They could have been a tornado, don't know, F1 tornado at a certain part. So we're going to continue to refine our system. I think we're getting there. I do want to remind people, they got a great solid waste system here. We have a garbage collects every week, recycling every other week. We have every week also a truck goes by your house to collect compost on the compost system with the bags and the stickers. So that's a pay-as-you-throw program, meaning if you mulch your grass, you probably don't need it. If you bag your grass, you do. If you got a lot of trees, you're going to probably need the system. But that's one of the fairest ways you can do this, because it's not on taxpayers' dollars. It's not on our property tax. That's a user fee system, just like the water, sewer, garbage, recycling. All those are user fee systems, and that's what we try to do with solid waste. We're going to keep refining our system as these storms come, and it seems like there'll be more of them as we go forward. But thanks, we appreciate your input. Thank you.
Yeah, I think, from my part, I think you guys did a phenomenal job, you and Gary and Public Services, going through and identifying the areas of the city that were the hardest hit, and then going to pick up, starting today, those areas. We're not always going to hit every single person. I mean, I'm not in that area. I had a couple big limbs down, pulled them out of the tree, got them out, and a neighbor came and helped me cut them up, and I'm going to use the composted program. So we're not going to get everybody. People have to understand that. So, but I think we did a good job identifying the majority of people that were hit. So, well, thank you so much for that. Okay, moving on to item 4, consent agenda. Are there any items that any council person would like to have pulled and voted on separately? Otherwise, I would take a motion to approve the consent agenda as distributed.
Motion to approve. Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Please vote.
Councilwoman Hardman votes aye.
4 yes.
Okay. Moving on to item 5, old business, item 5A, ordinance amendment, amend Title 5, police regulations, and Title 9 zoning to align various titles, chapters, and sections in city code to accommodate homestead or farm, allow the sale of horticultural specialty crops and produce stands, allow public parking lots with no primary structures, allow museums in the agricultural open space zoning district, and to modify code references in the land use tables, city initiated. We've got an ordinance for approval of the third reading and adoption in final form. There are no outstanding issues and no changes from the previous reading, which was adopted by the council 3-2 with Trevelyan and McKinney voting no. Does somebody want to move consideration of the third reading and adoption?
Motion to consider the third reading.
Okay,
Second.
it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, please vote.
Aye.
3 yes, 1 no. An ordinance amending the city code of the city of West Des Moines, Iowa, 2024, Title 5 police regulations and Title 9 zoning to align various titles, chapters, and sections of code.
Motion to approve the final reading.
Second.
Okay, please vote.
Aye.
3 yes, 1 no.
Okay, moving on, item 5B, Angel Estates, 1500 South 60th Street, amend the zoning map to establish detached residential land use, single-family residential, RS30 zoning, Angel Estates LLC. We've got an ordinance for approval, the second reading of the consistency zoning. There are no outstanding issues and no changes from the previous reading, which was adopted by the council at the last meeting, 4-1, with Trevelyan voting no. Does somebody want to move consideration of the second reading?
Motion to consider the second reading.
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none, please vote.
Aye.
3 yes, 1 no. An ordinance amending the official zoning map of the city of West Des Moines, Iowa, 2024 by amending Title 9 zoning, Chapter 4 zoning districts and map.
Motion to approve the second reading.
Second.
Okay, please vote.
Aye.
3 yes, 1 no.
Okay, item 5C, ordinance amendment, amend Title IX zoning to modify regulations pertaining to detached accessory buildings located in a front yard. City initiated. We've got an ordinance amendment for approval of third reading waiver. For approval of the second reading waiver, the third, and adoption in final form. There are no outstanding issues and no changes from the previous reading, which was adopted unanimously by the council at our last meeting.
Motion to consider second reading?
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none, please vote.
Aye.
4 yes, an ordinance amending the city code of the city of West Des Moines, Iowa, 2024, Title IX zoning, Chapter 7 setback and density regulations, and Chapter 14 accessory structures pertaining to regulations for detached accessory structures.
Motion to approve the second reading?
Second.
Okay, please vote.
Aye.
4 yes.
Motion to waive the third reading and adopt in final form?
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, please vote.
Aye.
4 yes.
Okay, item 5D, ordinance amendment, amend Title IX zoning to modify regulations pertaining to the expiration dates of the long-term temporary sign permits and sign contractor licenses, modify provisions for enforcement of signs on public property, and the process for sign variances and appeals, city initiated. We've got an ordinance amendment for approval of third reading waiver, approval of second reading waiver, the third reading, adoption of final form. There are no outstanding issues and no changes from the previous reading, which was adopted unanimously by the council at our last meeting.
Motion to consider second reading?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, please vote.
Aye.
4 yes, an ordinance amending the city code of the city of West Des Moines, Iowa, 2024, Title IX zoning, Chapter 18 signs pertaining to expiration of sign contractor licenses and long-term temporary sign permits, modify provisions for the removal of signs on city property, and clarify the variance and appeal process.
Motion to approve the second reading?
Second.
Okay, please vote.
Aye.
4 yes.
Motion to waive third reading and adopt in final form?
Second.
Please vote.
Aye.
4 yes.
Okay, item 5E, University Avenue Corridor Urban Renewal Area, Three Fountains TIF District, city initiated. We've got an ordinance for approval, the second reading, waiver, the third reading, and adoption in final form. There are no outstanding issues, and there is no change from the previous reading, which was adopted unanimously by the council at our June 19th meeting. Somebody want to move consideration of the second reading?
Motion to consider second reading?
Second.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, please vote.
Aye.
4 yes, an ordinance providing the general property taxes levied and collected each year on certain property located within the University Avenue Corridor Urban Renewal Area in the city of West Des Moines be paid to a special fund for payment of principal and interest on loans, monies advanced due and indebtedness, including bonds issued or to be issued incurred by the city in connection with the University Avenue Corridor Urban Renewal Area.
Motion to approve the second reading?
Second.
Okay, please vote.
Aye.
4 yes.
Motion to waive the third reading and adopt in final form?
Second.
Okay, please vote.
Aye.
4 yes.
Okay, item 6, public hearings. Item 6A, this is the time and place for a public hearing to consider West Grand Business Park north and south sides of Grand Avenue between South 60th Street and South 88th Street, amend the comprehensive plan land use map to designate multi-use medium land use, and amend the planned unit development ordinance to modify regulations for parcels 3, 4, and 5 within the PUD for entertainment, commercial, and multifamily development, initiated by WDM Entertainment LLC. Ryan, would you please read the date the notice is published?
July 17th, 2024, in the Des Moines Register.
And have we received any written comment to this hearing?
The Plan and Zoning Commission, by a vote of 5 yes with 2 absent, adopted a resolution recommending approval of the comp plan amendment and PUD amendment.
Okay, anybody from the audience would like to address council on item 6A, please come to the podium, give us your name and address for the record. Anybody online, please hit star 6 to unmute yourself and do the same. Is there anybody in the chamber or online that would like to address the council on item 6A?
Mayor Trimble, this is Matt Brown with Formation Group.
Sure.
Apologize I could not be in the room, but I am here representing the client as their consultant. And
Okay.
if there's any questions, just know that I'm out here.
Okay, thank you, Matt, appreciate it. Okay, good to go? Okay. All right, anybody that would like to address the council on this item, either online or in the chamber? Okay, hearing and seeing no one, I'll declare the public hearing closed. We've got a resolution approving the comprehensive plan land use map amendment and an ordinance amendment to the planned unit development for the first reading. We need to take these separately. Does somebody want to move approval of the resolution?
Motion to approve 6A1.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none, please vote.
Aye.
4 yes.
Motion to consider 6A2.
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none, please vote.
Aye.
4 yes, an ordinance to amend the city code of the city of West Des Moines, Iowa, 2024, and ordinance numbers 1373, 1812, 2299, 2359, 2360, 2446, 2460, and 2462 pertaining to plan unit development district regulations and guidelines.
Motion to approve 6A2.
Second.
Okay, please vote.
Aye.
4 yes.
Okay, item 6B, this is a time and place for a public hearing to consider Valor Ballroom, 301 Ashworth Road, amend the planned unit development ordinance to allow additional iconic signage initiated by VAB LLC. Ryan, would you please read the date the notice is published?
July 17th, 2024, in the Des Moines Register.
And have we received any written comment to this hearing?
The Planning and Zoning Commission, by a vote of 5 yes with 2 absent, adopted a resolution recommending approval of the PUD amendment.
Okay, anybody in the audience that would like to address the council on item 6B, please come to the podium, give us your name and address for the record. Anybody online, hit star 6 to unmute yourself and do the same. Is there anybody either online or in the chamber that would like to address the council on item 6B? Okay, seeing and hearing no one, I'll declare the public hearing closed. We've got an ordinance amendment to the PUD for approval, the first reading. There are no outstanding issues, and this was also approved unanimously by the Development and Planning City Council Subcommittee.
Motion to consider first reading.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, please vote.
Aye.
4 yes, an ordinance to amend the city code of the city of West Des Moines, Iowa, 2024, and ordinance number 2595 pertaining to plan unit development district regulations and guidelines.
Motion to approve first reading.
Second.
Okay, please vote.
Aye.
4 yes.
Okay, item 6C, this is a time and place for a public hearing to consider Grand Avenue reconstruction project, vacate 23,398 square feet of right-of-way of Grand Avenue initiated by the city of West Des Moines. Ryan, did you please read the date the notice is published?
July 29th, 2024, in the Des Moines Register.
And have you received any written comment to this hearing?
The Planning and Zoning Commission, by a vote of 6 yes with 1 absent, adopted a resolution recommending approval of the vacation request.
Okay, anybody in the audience would like to address the council on item 6C, please come to the podium, give us your name and address for the record. Anybody online, hit star 6 to unmute yourself and do the same. Is there anybody either in the chamber or online that would like to address the council on item 6C? Okay, once again, hearing and seeing no one, I'm going to declare the public hearing closed. We've got an ordinance for approval, the first reading for vacating the public right-of-way, and we've got a resolution vacating, releasing, and terminating the public street right-of-way easement. We've got to take these separately. Does someone want to move approval of the first reading?
Motion to consider the first reading?
Second.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, please vote.
Aye.
4 yes, an ordinance vacating 23,398 square feet of right-of-way of Grand Avenue.
Motion to approve the first reading.
Second.
Okay, please vote.
Aye.
4 yes.
Okay, now does somebody want to move approval of the resolution?
Motion to approve 6C number 2.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, please vote.
Aye.
4 yes.
Okay, item 6D. This is a time and place for a public hearing to consider Community Development Block Grant Program 2024-25 Annual Action Plan initiated by the City of West Des Moines. This is continued from the July 1st meeting. Ryan, would you please read the date the notice is published?
July 26, 2024, in the Des Moines Register.
And have we received any written comments to this hearing?
None, Your Honor.
Okay, anybody from the audience like to address the council on item 6D, please come to the podium, give us your name and address for the record. Anybody online, hit star 6 to unmute yourself and do the same. Is there anybody either in the chamber or online that would like to address the council on item 6D? Okay, hearing and seeing no one, I'm going to declare the public hearing closed. We've got a resolution for approval of the 2024-25 CDBG action plan, and there are no outstanding issues. This was also approved unanimously by the Finance and Administration City Council Subcommittee.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, please vote.
Aye.
4 yes.
Okay, item 7, new business. Item 7A, Fox Ridge Plat 4, southeast of Southeast Creek Hill Way and Southeast 25th Street, accept public improvements and approve final plat to create 32 lots for single-family development and 4 street lots, D.R. Horton, Iowa, LLC. We've got a resolution for acceptance of public improvements and approval of release of the final plat. There are no outstanding issues, and this was approved unanimously by the Development and Planning City Council Subcommittee as well.
Motion for approval.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there anybody in the audience or online that would like to address the council on this item? Okay, is there any discussion on the dais? Okay, please vote.
Aye.
4 yes.
Okay, item 7B, Woodland Estates Plat 4, 9510 Mill Civic Parkway, approve a preliminary plat to create 21 lots for single-family residential development, 2 outlots and 1 street lot. Silo 9, Plat 1 LLC. We have a resolution for approval of the preliminary plat. There are no outstanding issues, and the applicant is in agreement with all staff recommendations. This was also approved unanimously by the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Motion to approve 7B.
Second.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. Is there anybody in the audience or online that would like to address the council on item 7B? Okay, is there any discussion on the dais? Okay, please vote.
Aye.
4 yes.
Okay, item 7C, plat of survey for parcels 24-53, 24-54, and 24-55, south of 362nd Place between Tabor Road and Utica Trail. Extraterritorial view, plat of survey to create 3 parcels totaling 168.38 acres for future transfer of ownership, Exira Capital LLC. We've got a resolution for approval and release of the plat of survey. There are no outstanding issues, and the applicant is in agreement with all staff recommendations.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, it's a move and second. Is there anybody in the audience or online that would like to address the council on item 7C? Okay, any discussion on the dais? Okay, please vote.
Aye.
4 yes.
Okay, item 8, receive, file, and/or refer. There are no items to receive, file, or refer. Item 9, other matters. I would just bring up that we had a lengthy discussion at the last council meeting regarding an issue with fences in the city. Since then, I believe that we have a way forward, that we'd like to move forward. And I don't know if somebody wants to talk about the details of that, but essentially what it is for fences that, and correct me if I'm wrong, for fences that were built after, was it 1999? Fences that were built after 1999, if the people need to.
They built before 99.
I'm sorry, before 1999, if those individuals need to replace that fence, they can do so, and they'll continue to be legal, non-conforming, but they get one chance at redoing that fence, and then after that, they will have to conform with the current law as is.
And these apply to the 6-foot fences.
And it applies to the
Built on a
6-foot,
property line
yep,
versus-
thank you. 6-foot fences, not the 4-foot fences. Current code with that stays as is. Is that something that the council feels like they can support?
The one thing that I was wondering about, Mr. Mayor, about this is in 20 years, is a future council going to have to be dealing with this very, very issue? So if we're okay with them doing once, but we're not all right with them doing this in perpetuity, so to speak?
Yeah, I think the thought is that it would be documented. The person would come forward, this would be documented, they've used their one, kind of like we do with minor modifications, and that would be documented. And after that, if the person is still out of compliance and they go to do something with a fence, then the council needs to make them take it down and make it in compliance. Now, you can't bind the hands of future councils, but that is the thought, that we're going to get tough on people that are non-conforming. We're trying to move people to conform with the current code. There's a reason that we have the code the way we do, but we want to be reasonable as well. So allow people one chance to rebuild that fence that is currently out of compliance. It gets marked down, and we keep track of that. And then the next time that they have to make a change to that, they've got to bring the fence in compliance.
Would that chance transfer ownership as homes are bought and sold?
It would.
It's a one-time deal, though,
It goes
right?
with the property.
Goes with the property. So if they haven't used it yet, so to speak, and I buy your house, and then I sell my house to Doug, and then Doug sells his house to Kevin, and it still hasn't been used, Kevin can use that one still?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, as long as that fence was built on or before 1999.
But if you use it and you sell your house to Russ, Russ can't do anything with that
Sure.
fence, except bring it into compliance.
And that would be attached to the title or attached to some sort of documentation
Document
when
that-
home ownership is transferred?
Yes.
Okay.
What's the reasoning around 1999?
That's when the code changed and required from
Oh,
being
that's right,
allowed
I
to be
remember.
on the property line to you have to be 15 feet back from. And this
Okay.
applies to side yards. If you're on a corner lot,
Yeah.
they look at it that you got basically two front yards,
Yeah.
whatever fronts those. So that's why it has to be a 15-foot. But throughout the city, we've got multiple areas that you've got 4-foot fence, which that's allowed, and then you get next to it a 6-foot fence, and it's not allowed. And so you got, and then some set back, some don't. And so this is kind of trying to allow somebody that has one now to be able to keep it there and maintain it
Yep.
in
I
a
remember.
decent condition versus, I mean, because if they just left it there and it looks like crap, well, it's still going to stay there.
Right.
This allows them to make it, a nice looking fixture at this point.
I remember reading the ordinance a few weeks back, and we discussed I don't know if it was a subcommittee meeting or where it was, but maybe a community compliance or something, I can't remember, but I think it's a good compromise. Mayor?
I do too. I think it's the best compromise that we could have come up with. And I think the idea, and refresh my memory if I'm wrong, this will give staff the direction they need
Yes.
to be able to go in and make an amendment then to
Right.
current code. Okay, and bring that back. Okay.
And this doesn't prevent anyone from building a fence,
No.
just the 6-foot, that's the factor that we're
It's
talking
for,
about
it's for
here.
legal non-conforming
Yes.
fences.
Correct.
Yes.
That are
Doesn't
6-foot
yeah,
fences.
It doesn't
that were-
allow somebody, if I have a corner lot and I don't have a fence, it doesn't allow me to build a 6-foot on the property line.
Yeah,
This
that's
is
not the
only
one
from a
we're talking
maintenance
about here. It's a
standpoint.
replacement.
It's for existing fences that were built on or before 1999 that are legal non-conforming today.
Sure thing. Thank you.
So,
I would support that.
okay. Doug, you okay with that? Yes. Renee, you okay?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
This is Renee.
Yep.
This might get a little dicey for me because I'm at the airport and I'm trying to
Yep.
get through security,
Yep.
but I also didn't want to miss my obligations to serve. I agree with the direction we're going.
Okay.
I do want to thank Councilman Trevilian for really kind of bringing this up that allowed us to sit and kind of think through how we can compromise. Because sometimes things aren't black and white.
Right.
And it's hard. So I really saw this as a great example where we got together and tried to come up with something that was workable. And to Councilman Hudson's comment, I don't think that much of what we do bounds future councils because they all can get together and decide based on the good of the city what direction they want to go.
Right.
Yep.
And I think that's the case. Am I correct? Okay.
Yes.
There could be 5 new elected officials and a mayor that has different direction for the city, and it's going to go on. So I'd like to put this to bed
Yep.
and move forward with this compromise. And again, thank all the city council members and you, Mayor, for us really kind of not just eliminating this from discussion, but saying, let's see how we can solve this.
Yep.
It may not be perfect, but I believe in progress over perfection.
Right.
Thank you for your
Renee.
comments. Appreciate it, Renee, and thank you, Kevin, for your work on it. Councilman McKinney as well.
I appreciate everybody's support on
Everybody
this.
that participated in trying to come up with a compromise that made sense. So, okay, so staff has their direction, and we're moving in that way. Is there any other business to come before the council? Hearing none, we're adjourned.
Thank you.
Thanks.